here's a problem for you folks to try. I'm going to suggest that you pause the video and try this on your own. Just letting you know, you can expect this to be similar to the one we did last time, so that after you do a U sub, you're going to have an extra factor that you're going to need to rewrite in terms of U. Okay, see you soon. Welcome back. All right, so you may be able to see what the substitution should be, but I do have two different function compositions here. So I'm going to just write out both of them. I could have U equals sine x, which would be the inside part of this. It's being plugged into the cubing function. Or I could have U equals cosine x. That's the inside part of this. It's being plugged into the cube root function. If I do this, my U prime would be cosine x. And if I do this, my U prime would be negative sine x. This one's not going to work. I don't have a cosine of x. I have the cube root of cosine x. And that's very, very different. That's cosine of x to the 1/3 power. So it's like I have a third of what I need. I need the other 2/3 power of cosine of x. And while I could, actually, no, I couldn't. I'm thinking I could. Sometimes you can multiply by what's missing over itself, because then you're multiplying by 1. Usually that makes the integral more complicated. And in this case, I can't, because cosine of x is 0 over this interval. At pi over 2, cosine of x would be 0. So any power of cosine x can't appear on the bottom. Okay, so I don't think this one's going to work. I don't have enough. Here, with this one, I'm missing the negative sign, but that's easy to fix. And I have too much. I have 3 factors of sine, and for the du, I just need 1 factor of sine. But my general sense is I'd rather have too much than too little, so I'm going to multiply by -1 twice, once on the inside and once on the outside, and then I'm just going to rewrite this. That is negative sine x times sine squared x times the cube root of cosine x dx. Okay. So now here's what I need for the du together with the dx. That's my extra factor. I would need to rewrite that in terms of u, but u is just cosine x, and I've got my Pythagorean identity. I know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. So sine squared x is 1 minus cosine squared x. That's 1 minus u squared. So now I can rewrite this in terms of u. So it's negative. We're going to integrate from cosine of 0, which is 1, to cosine of pi, which is -1. So you'll notice we're going backwards. Okay. The negative sine x and the dx becomes part of the du. The sine squared x, we just said, is going to become 1 minus u squared. Cube root of cosine x is u to the 1/3. All right. So now, after that u substitution, I still have a multiplication problem, but the difference is it's multiplication that I can do. This is all just powers of u. Here, I couldn't simplify the multiplication because this had a base of cosine and this had a base of sine. Different bases, I can't combine things when I multiply them out. All right, so this is negative, integral from 1 to -1. If you want to use that negative sign to reverse the limits of integration, you can. Okay. I'm going to just distribute that multiplication, so that's going to be u to the 1/3 minus u to the 2 would be 6/3, plus 1/3 is going to be 7/3 du. Okay, I think we're ready to integrate. So that's going to be negative. U to the 1 more than 1/3 would be 3/3 plus 1/3 is 4/3. Dividing by that power is times 3/4. Minus u to the 10/3, dividing by that is times 3/10. And all of that's going to be evaluated between -1 and 1. So we're going to have negative what I get at -1 minus what I get at 1. All right, when I plug in -1, cube root of -1 is just -1. To the 4th power, that's just going to be 1. So I'm going to get 3/4. Minus cube root of -1 is -1. But to the 10th power, that's going to be 1. So this is minus 3/10. When I plug in 1, I'm going to get 3/4 minus 3/10. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get negative 0, which is, of course, just 0. Okay? So, all that work for nothing. All right. So the integral ends up being 0. Totally fine. All that means is that what happened along here is we had some, thinking of this as signed area, we had some positive signed area and some negative signed area, and they simply canceled each other out.